When you hear the word Buddhism, what actually comes to mind? Do you think of monks in orange robes? Or maybe you think of yoga? Maybe you've even seen those cute little Buddha statues with big fat bellies. Buddhism is actually a global religion that's been practiced for over thousands of years, all over the globe. Today, I'm going to briefly inform you about Buddhism, the basic beliefs of Buddhists, the general practice of Buddhists, and the origin of Buddhism. Buddhism is actually a global religion practiced by over 350 million people worldwide, according to CNN.com. It's a non-theist religion, which means it's not actually based on a god. The Buddha was actually a real-life person in history. His name, originally before he became the Buddha, was Siddhartha Gautama. Buddhism is actually based on the teachings that the Buddha spread on his travels during his journey to enlightenment. The Buddha didn't technically become Buddha until he reached nirvana. Now that I've told you about the basic beliefs of Buddhists, let me tell you about how they practice these beliefs. Meditation is the most common form of practice for Buddhists. It's to reach enlightenment, or nirvana. There are also things called mantras, which are sacred sounds that Buddhists use to help guide them through meditation. You may recognize this as the sound Om. Another practice is called mudras, which are sacred hand gestures, which are also used to help guide through meditation. Now that I've told you about how Buddhists practice this, let me tell you a bit about the brief origin of Buddhism. Siddhartha Gautama was a very wealthy prince that lived in a castle. He lived a very privileged lifestyle and had no knowledge of the outside world. One day, Siddhartha became very bored with his lifestyle, so he ventured outside of his castle walls. What he found outside these castle walls was very heartbreaking to Siddhartha. He found pain and suffering, things that he had never seen or witnessed before. This upset Siddhartha very much. So one day, Siddhartha decided to leave home, left his castle walls, and ventured out into the real world. Through all of this pain and suffering that he was witnessing, he so badly wanted to find a way for everyone to find peace, love, and harmony. Eventually, Siddhartha would come up with what are called the Four Noble Truths. These truths are based on kindness, understanding, and compassion. After many trials and experiences, the Buddha eventually reached nirvana while sitting under a tree. Ever since then, he became the Buddha, and his teachings have lived on for thousands of years. I highly recommend doing personal research yourself to learn more exactly what these teachings are and what they mean. In short, I've given you a brief glimpse into the fascinating world of Buddhism, covering the basic beliefs of Buddhism, how Buddhists practice, and a brief origin of Buddhism. While I myself am not Buddhist, I find a lot of peace in reading about Buddhism and learning about other religions that are vastly different from what I'm used to. I think it would benefit anyone to open up their minds and learn about an ancient religion that is different from any other in the world. The Buddha did not become the Buddha until he left what he knew to try to discover something new. Namaste.